back to my channel. So I know I've been gone for a while, but I'm back now. So thank you for sticking around. In today's video, we'll be talking about a 12-year-old girl that ended the life of her younger brother. So if you're interested in hearing about that story, just stick around and let's get into it. On January 5th, 2023, a mother woke up out of her sleep believing that her son was having night terrors. Her worst nightmare came true. She wouldn't believe what had happened. So let's go back to the beginning of the story so I can explain to you what happened. Sorry if I have a list. I have my aligners in, so S's are very hard for me to say. So when I'm saying stuff with an S, you will hear a list. I'm sorry about it. So the 12-year-old is a minor, so I'm not going to say her name. And her brother, his name was Xander, but he is deceased now, so I am able to say his name. So I just want to clarify that in the beginning of the video. April Lida is a 34-year-old female that lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and she is the mother of a 12-year-old girl, a 9-year-old boy, and a 3-year-old boy. On one night in January, she was woken up by her 12-year-old daughter telling her that she had just stabbed her little brother. April calls the Tulsa Police Department and she lets them know that her son has been stabbed and he needs help right away. When the police responded to the apartment complex in downtown Tulsa and St. Thomas Square neighborhood just before midnight near 46th and Peoria Street, when EMS and firefighters got there, they were already working on him trying to save his life from the stab wounds he had. When the police got there, the 12-year-old girl just busted out the front door and she just kept apologizing profusely, saying how sorry she was. And they were just like, whoa, what's going on here? She told the police that she had just stabbed her brother over and over and over again. And then she threw the knife out the second-story window out of her bedroom. And then she told the police that she could show them where she threw it. So as this was going on, they took the 9-year-old boy who was stabbed 3 times to the emergency room at 2:30 in the morning. He was taken into emergency surgery and unfortunately, he succumbed to his wounds. He had passed away during surgery. The police officers went and got the 12-year-old girl and took her to the detention center. On her way to the detention center, she was sobbing in the car and she just kept saying, I'm going to go to jail, I'm going to go to jail. And the police officer was trying to soothe her and tell her it's too soon to tell, just calm down. And she just kept saying, I'm going to go to jail, I'm going to go to jail. The police officer was trying to soothe her and calm her down and trying to let her know that they don't know what's going to happen. While she was on her way to the detention facility, you can hear her say, I ruined my life, I ruined my whole future, it's all my fault. And then you can hear her and she starts crying. The officer tells her it's nobody's fault. And then she says, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. How were all those S's? But anyway, I'm going to jail for the rest of my life and I'm so sorry. God, please help me. What the F? Please, effing please. I just want to wake up from this nightmare. I already know I'm going to go to jail for the rest of my life.
What was that?
I already know I'm gonna go to jail for the rest of my life.
You are not going to jail.
Yes, I am.
Nobody knows that, alright? Okay? You are not.
What I did was super illegal.
We are gonna get through with this, okay?
I'm just scared. Am I gonna be able to go back to school?
Huh?
Am I gonna be able to go back to school?
I don't know yet.
I just want to say goodbye to a lot of people.
Say good. Where are you going?
Jail.
You?
It's stabbed to someone that's bad.
Oh.
That's really bad.
Let's not think about that, okay? Let's not think about that. Just calm down, relax. A lot of things are going on right now, okay? A lot of things are going on right now, okay?
Okay.
And then she says, what I did was super illegal. After a little bit more conversation, she says, are these handcuffs necessary? I'm a good child.
Okay. Are the handcuffs necessary? I'm a good child.
You're a good child, but that's just what we have to do, policy. Especially if you're sitting in my car, you know?
Gotta itch my eye.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even know if my mom will want me to live there anymore.
Your mom loves you, okay? Your brother loves
They
you
won't
too.
trust me anymore.
talking
They
about?
wouldn't be able to just be anymore. I was recording it. They would probably be too scared to even let me back in the house.
No, it's okay.
I'm not saying that I will go to jail, but if I were to go to jail, how long would I be there for?
So it's kind of a difficult question. So first of all, you're too young to go to jail.
Juvie?
So juvenile detention and jail, two completely different things.
The officer asks her while she's in the car, who watches you while your mother goes to work at night? And she goes, it's just me. I babysit. How crazy is that, knowing that she babysits both of her younger brothers, the 9-year-old and 3-year-old, and she's been alone with them all this time, and she's the babysitter, and this is what happened. So what we learned from April, this is what April said. April said that her daughter had recently stopped taking her ADHD medication. The mother said that this was her second time stopping taking the medication. She stopped the medication because she was going to be homeschooled. And she was only taking the medication because she was in a classroom full of 20 kids and she couldn't concentrate. So since she was going to be homeschooled now, she was like, I don't need the medication. So they took her off. But eventually, a year later, she ended up going back to school, back to public school. While she was in public school, her grades began to drop and she wasn't able to concentrate. So the school and the doctor told April, put her back on the medication since it worked so well before. Now, we don't know the specific medication that the 12-year-old was on, but she was on medication that was for ADHD. A month later, the 12-year-old girl began to harm herself, and physically harm herself. And that's what they felt like was causing her to do these things. So the doctor was like, no, take her off the medication. Let's see how this goes. After being off the medication, from what April knows, the daughter didn't harm herself anymore. The only time she knows that she did harm herself was the night before this whole incident occurred.
What have you been able to make sense of in terms of how this happened?
From what we found, it looks like it was a medication issue, not anything else. It's just like a manic episode of some kind. From a
Help me
non-narcotic
understand.
ADHD medicine.
Help me understand. So she was on an ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, very common for parents out there. They'll hear about it. They come with indications, but there's usually guidance about, well, you may start seeing things. Was this part of a downturn or a spiral? Was there any other behavior that gave you any indication that the kid was unstable?
No. She was fine. She wasn't unstable until she was put back on the medication.
So she was
She was
on
put
the
back on the
medication.
She hurt herself.
What happened to take her off it?
She cut her arms within a month of being back on it. So I immediately took her off after speaking to the school and her doctor and herself. We had a long conversation. She said that she felt like she was really irritated, irritable, angry for no reason on the medication. So of course I took her off of it. Unfortunately, it was too late. The damage was done. Stuff like this can happen months or even years after being off of a medication like this.
So she was on the medication, you took her off, she went back on, she started to self-harm, you took her off again. What did the doctors tell you about why going on or off was the right thing? Were they in favor of taking her off both times?
Well, the first time I took her off, it was my decision and Jalen's decision because she was being homeschooled at the time and she wanted to see if she could do it without her medication, because the only reason why she was on that medication was because she was having a hard time concentrating with 20, 25 other kids. We were homeschooling that year and I told her that was fine. We can try it out and see if she does well on it. And if she does, she'll continue to not have to take it. But like I said, a year and a half later, she went back to public school, and the doctor recommended putting her back on it because her grades were slipping. And so I did. I put her back on it, And then a few weeks later, a month later, she cut her arms. So that's when I was told to take her back off of it, which I did immediately. So she was on it for 5 years straight. And we only took her off of it because she wanted to see if she could go without it and do her schoolwork without it.
Police body cam footage was taken of the daughter being arrested that night. In the video, you can hear the daughter saying, "I don't know why I did it. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened."
I'm so sorry. I'm so
Come here.
sorry.
Come here.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
We're just gonna put handcuffs on just for now.
I'm sorry. Just pull up my pants.
Where's the
I'm
knife?
sorry, Dad. I'm sorry. I don't know what the fuck. I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. Please. I'm so sorry. You better pray to God. I am sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
How old are you?
I'm 12 years old. I'm so fucking sorry, Mama. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. This is some demonic shit. I'm so sorry.
What's your mom?
Everyone was so confused as to why she did it. They didn't see any violent behavior, any aggression, nothing. They were just clueless. But come to find out, she was telling her friends that she was having thoughts about stabbing her brother. After finding this out, April felt like, where did this come from? She had no idea about it. She was trying to figure out why her daughter's friends didn't tell her, like, oh, she's having these thoughts, or why someone didn't let her know. So maybe she could have prevented it. She was confused as to why she didn't know her daughter was feeling this way, why no one told her. She was just lost. I don't know about you guys, but I never heard about anybody committing murder because they were off their ADHD medication. I mean, that's just something that doesn't come to my mind. I mean, I don't know. So, I mean, if you guys have heard of it, let me know. But I just feel like this is out the blue, and it's kind of an excuse, but I could be wrong. I'm just going off of the top of my noggin, so I could be wrong. But let me know if you guys have heard of this before or know any type of situations like this. That would be greatly appreciated because I have no idea. I feel like there was something else that made her want to do this act, and there were previous thoughts. There was something going on that made her do this. I don't think it was her stopping her medication. I don't think that's what caused this. April describes her children's relationship as very close. She said they loved each other, they would do everything together, they would do yoga every night, they would go on vacations together, they were just very happy. She said nothing crazy happened between them. They were just brother and sister, and they both loved each other very much. It was just the three of them kind of together the whole time, really. When April went to the hospital to check on her son, she was there for a little bit, but then the detectives, the police officers, wanted to talk to her. So they pulled her over into a room and sat her down and was ready to talk to her. This was after a little bit when she was checking on her son. So the police officers were sitting down with her and trying to get some information out of her. And she sat down and she was just like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. And the police officers were like, okay, well, your son is still alive. Let's just start off with that. And she was so grateful and happy and was just like, thank God. And then she was like, I don't know why my daughter would have done this. She doesn't show any aggression, just came out of nowhere. She was just like dumbfounded. She said that her kids would bully each other, but they would never physically fight. That it never went that far. So she was so confused. She said she heard screams coming from his room, and then when she went in there to try to wake him up because she thought he was having night terrors, she rolled him over and she saw that there was all this blood. And then she was just like, oh my God, what happened? Like, what happened? And then the son was like, she stabbed me. And then she asked him, she said, who stabbed you? And then he went unconscious.
But I said, I cannot imagine what you're going through right now.
She's never been aggressive or anything.
Yeah.
It's not like her. Like, it's like they bully each other like brother and sisters, but they never like fist fight or do anything like that.
So
it
this
was
is
just
completely.
He was in bed. He was downstairs trying to sleep. I don't know why she even went down there. Like, what the hell was she I don't understand any of it. All I know is I heard him screaming, the worst scream ever, and I thought maybe he was having a nightmare, so I started to try to wake him up, and there's blood everywhere. And he said, she stabbed me. I was like, no. And he started going in and out of consciousness, and so that's what they told me, to put him on the floor, do chest compressions, and I couldn't find my daughter anywhere. I was screaming her name, and she ran out after she did it because she was scared. And like, it's just weird. They don't really get along that great, but never would have assumed she'd do something like that. That's crazy to me. Like, she was like, I don't know why. It was fucking crazy. I don't know. She doesn't even curse. Like, I don't know.
Just, yeah, I can.
She's not a bad kid. Like, she doesn't do bad things. You know what I mean? Like, she
totally
doesn't get in
out of
trouble. It was
yeah.
weird, yeah.
What's her name?
April continues to say that she doesn't know why her daughter did it, and her daughter doesn't know why she did it. It was just out the blue. She said that her daughter is heartbroken and she feels so guilty. She can't believe what she did. April even said that a team of specialists was working with her daughter, and the specialists believe her daughter's story, that she doesn't know why she did it. April also said that she believes her child too, her daughter, and she thinks that she doesn't know why she did it either.
Was she able to tell you what led to her stabbing him?
She has no idea why she did it. She's heartbroken and feels very guilty, but she still doesn't understand why she did it. She said it was like it wasn't her. And the team of specialists working with her, they believe her after working with her for the last 6 months every day. And I believe her too, because I know my child and I know that wasn't her.
April wants her daughter just to get whatever type of help she needs, and she knows she is going to have a hard time with it, and her daughter's going to have a hard time with it, but she just wants her to get some type of treatment to help her. So after all this, police are still being tight-lipped about the case because of the children ages, especially the 12-year-old. They don't want to release any of her information really because she is a minor. Now, if this story hasn't shocked you enough, if it isn't wild enough, let's do a little background history on these family members, and you're probably going to be even more shocked. So it came to light that the parents in this situation, they all have their types of issues, and we're going to talk about them. So when it comes to the daughter's father, he's 38-year-old Dustin James Cunningham. He is a convicted felon who is currently in jail right now. He is also a white supremacist that is a part of the Aryan Brotherhood. April believes that he had joined this gang while he was in prison because she doesn't know about it before then, apparently, allegedly. So let's talk a little bit about why he's in jail and what he has been doing to get himself in jail, and let's just talk about Dustin. So he apparently took the police on a car chase while he was getting pulled over for a defective taillight. He refused to stop his pickup truck while the police put on their overhead lights for him to pull over. He decided not to and to speed it on up. So he was just driving on through there into the residential neighborhood, and then he even drove through someone's yard, and then he came back down and he started driving some more, and then he hit a guardrail, and then he decided to jump out the truck and started to run. So the police started to chase him, and he didn't make it too far. He was only able to run a block away, and he got caught. The reason why he decided to run is because when the police went to the car and checked it, they discovered there was some crystal meth in there, there was a pill bottle, there was a loaded syringe, there was a clear bag with a powdery substance in it. He was officially charged with endangering others while eluding police, possession of controlled substance, and driving without a license. Dustin told the police that he decided to run and put on this whole chase because he was on probation. It was probably because he was on probation and he had all of these drugs on him. So I'm pretty sure it was both, not just the probation. Pretty sure it was both, Dustin. Pretty sure. Dustin has over 16 different mugshots. He has been in and out of jail or prison since 2014. He has various charges ranging from drug trafficking, possessions of a firearm while committing a felony, and a burglary. It has been reported that Dustin wasn't a part of the 12-year-old's life. He wasn't there. He was an absentee father, and he also owes tens of thousands of dollars in child support. April married her ex-husband in 2012. His name was Levi or Levi Lida. He was 39 years old. He has been in and out of jail or prison. When he was in jail, he had a cellmate that he caused brain damage to. Let's just put that out there right there. So April was married to him, and 8 months down the road, she found out that he was an alcoholic. She also found out about his history of violent behavior and aggression. In 2017, he got arrested for torturing a cat to death. He was also arrested for possession of a stolen vehicle, and he got arrested for an assault on his own father. So after hearing that, I know you guys want to know, well, why did he assault his father? Well, let me tell you why. So Levi, whatever his name is, his father found him, which is his son, in their apartment complex parking lot unresponsive. So the father was freaking out, like, oh, my son, he's right there, he's unresponsive. He's trying to check on him and make sure he's okay. And then the ambulance comes, and as all this is going on, Levi, whatever his name is, was waking up, and I guess he started to freak out, so he punched his 63-year-old father in the face, and it knocked out his hearing aids. Yes, it knocked out his hearing aids, and he kept punching him over and over again. And then the EMTs, he started to punch them and assault them as well. For this, he was convicted of domestic assault and battery charges on a peace officer. So now let's move on to their mother, April. April was actually a drug addict. When she was 18, she moved in with Dustin, and she began to share his addiction to meth with him. For nearly a year, she was a hardcore addict to many of drugs, but she most preferably used opiates and meth that she shot up in her arms. She was shooting up several times a day until she found out she was pregnant with her son. Once she was pregnant with her son, that's when she stopped using drugs. She said, I quit drugs the minute I found out I was pregnant with him. The gynecologist helped me with Tylenol and stuff like that, and I quit. I never went back to those things since. There are a lot of pieces missing to this puzzle. We don't know what type of medication she was on, and they are claiming that the medication is what made her commit this murder, and something isn't adding up, something is missing. I think that her environment and what she has been around, what she grew up in, and her family history, I think all of that has something to do with why she did, and maybe she was depressed and having negative thoughts, so that caused her to put all this stuff together. And then maybe she just lashed out and did something that she regrets. April says that she managed to shield her children from everything she was going through, all the hardships and the environment, but clearly that did not happen, because I feel like her environment did affect her 12-year-old daughter, because she put her in that type of environment. And I feel like she noticed what was going on. She was already born before she started doing drugs, because that's when she had her son that's younger than her. So she was around for all of this and what was happening. And if you put into factor her dad, her stepdad, and her mom, that could cause her to do something like that, I feel like. I mean, that's just me, I just feel like that. But I mean, the factors are all there. So I don't think she was really shielding her. I feel like she probably tried afterwards, but maybe it was too late. There's a GoFundMe for the family that was made by their family friend, Jennifer Anthemathan. And on the GoFundMe, she wrote, her son Xander was the sweetest boy who had the biggest smile. He loves to ride his bike, play Fortnite, hang out with his best friend, or just run errands with his mom. He loves spending time with his dad and his grandma, going on trips with his family, and his favorite places was Sky Zone, Incredible Pizza, and the Children's Museum. His favorite foods were cheese pizza, tacos, and chocolate ice cream. He was an amazing son who would always do what he was told, without hesitation. He wanted to make his mom proud. He loved his sister and his brother very much, and he will be missed every second of every single day.
Sometimes juveniles are what's called a youthful offender, where they've committed a heinous crime, and even if they're under 18, they still get charged as an adult. In this case, the suspect is so young that that's not going to happen.
According to April, there haven't been any charges filed, but there can be charges filed later on. In Oklahoma, you can't charge a 12-year-old with murder But police are still investigating the case, and I think they are going to charge her with something that's going to mandate her to get some type of treatment for her mental health issues. Right now she is voluntary in a treatment facility to get help, so she can leave whenever she wants. So I think that the police are going to charge her with something that's going to mandate her to get help. So hopefully this will never happen again. Okay guys, that is the end of the video for me. Please leave your comments down below, your thoughts. What did you think about the video? How do you feel about this topic, this case? Please let me know. And don't forget to like, comment, and please subscribe to my channel. I'm back now. I'm going to try to do videos. I'm going to put them out. So just look out for them. Just leave your requests if you have any.